If you don't have some kind of work plan that organizes and represents what kind of work each of your teams is doing interdepartmentally, then you're putting all of these teams at a deficit. Let me explain why. Does your team understand your company's vision, what you're trying to achieve, your objectives and ideal outcomes? If they don't, then they're going to have a hard time plugging their own work into that larger vision and ethos, let alone understanding how other departments function and why their work should matter to that larger vision. If you're not unifying everybody on a common goal, then there is no common goal and therefore no commonality, no unification. That becomes a problem. You can create standard working agreements between your departments that actually not only identify and document what each of those departments is responsible for and what tools they use to get it done and what timelines they're operating under, but it also makes sure that there's an accountability from one department to the next. These guys not only understand and have visibility into how those guys work and what they're trying to achieve, but they actually have accountabilities to help each other. How much are your departments helping each other now? Silos are incredibly common. Most of my clients come to us confused about how their department should interplay. They don't have anybody on the team who's truly responsible to make sure these departments interplay well. And it causes culture issues, it causes productivity issues, it can even cause issues on the brand, on the front end. If sales can post stuff to social and marketing can too, and comms can too, and all of these different people have access and keys to different tech or to different publishing tools or platforms, you're going to have brand confusion. Even if you have a good brand documentation process, which a lot of companies don't have that either. So what unifies these people? If you haven't expressed to them explicitly what your vision is for the company, what your brand is set out to do, and the personality behind all of that, if they're not functioning with the same insights on your audiences, or if they don't even see themselves as having the same audiences, you're going to have problems. And those problems will not solve themselves just by good faith. Those problems do not come from a place of these teams doing a bad job or not caring or being selfish toward each other. It's very natural because each one of these people, as an individual, is just trying to do their job. And each one of these teams, as a collective, is just trying to do their initiative, deal with their projects. The problem is, the whole company is a project. Nobody's managing that. And I can promise your CEO isn't either. So identifying the problem is one thing, but solving it is another, and it can get complicated. My simple advice is to make sure that you have some kind of committee process or liaison process from department to department. Make sure there's somebody who functions as a conduit and can connect these people. If you don't have that, you need to find one. If you can't find it inside your team, you may need to hire somebody. Often, people hire consultants to build this process for them. You need to have documentation for what tools each of your departments is using and how they overlap. You need to have a process and documentation for who can go to whom to get certain answers or supports interdepartmentally. If you don't have these things, it's time to set them up now. And if you need help, you know who to call.